I have a permission slip for you today. I want to hand to you with two hands and say, here you go. Uh, I want to remind you that when you're doing an audiobook, you have every right and really should lean toward relying on your acting skills. And maybe you're sitting there going, "Yeah, what do you mean, David? Of course." Well, let's talk about that because sometimes we forget that we're allowed to do that. All right? We'll do that in this episode of the VO Heroes podcast. Getting a booking or having a book that you've written to narrate is a big, momentous, awesome event worth congratulations and celebration and joy. And it is a big, big bolus of work. And it has assigned to it a level of importance that is outsized in our lives. And what I mean by that is, as an actor, if I do a one-line day player, or if I do a week on a show and it's a guest star and I've got like maybe 3 pages to do, that's really important. That's a big job. It's, something that I work for all the time. It's not as big as an audiobook. It's 1/1000th the amount of content. I have to do, 3 or 4 pages and create a character for that. Okay, well, for an audiobook, there could be hundreds of pages, many hundreds of pages. And it's not something to be trifled with. The problem is it's such a big event, and for many people, it happens so rarely that the amount of importance that they assign to it can be outsized, and it can change how you deliver the words. This is really important. I'm going to be very careful about my diction, about my sentence construction. I hear this question all the time, I want to be consistent with my pace from chapter to chapter. I want to give you a permission slip to pull in all of those wonderful things that you use for those shorter, smaller art pieces, like acting on a television show or in a commercial or in an animation piece, and to not forget to add those when you're doing your audiobook. It's safe to just simply recite the words well, to read the words well on the page, to do so with a pace that's easy for the listener to understand. But remember, your characters, each one of them, have full lives that you can bring to that character with every moment they speak. You can even do it with the neutral narrator. But we sometimes are pushed away from that with the notion that this is such a big and noble project, we have to give it, reverence and authority. And yes, you have to do all that. But when a character says something that they're sad about, or they're really, really angry about, it's okay to clench your teeth and say the words exactly as they are on the page. It's okay to raise your eyebrows and to have a little bit of a hitch in your voice when they're sad about something. It's okay to really ask a question when a character asks a question, or when the neutral narrator says, "But were they going to find out that that's the way it was this time as well?" Asking those questions helps the listener. Being in that emotional state helps the listener. It helps the story. And when you listen to those audiobook narrators that are just legendary and how they color what they do, you start to see most of the time, 99% of the time, those people are acting. They're acting well. And I don't want you to forget that. There are so many times that I hear narrators treat their manuscript with such reverence that it starts to pull them back and change how they deliver the words. They want to deliver the words clearly and effectively, but not necessarily within the construct of what the character wants, what the character can't get, what other characters are trying to keep them from getting or helping them to get. All the things that you consider when you're being an actor. And for those of you that are just audiobook narrators and you don't do on camera work, or you don't do on radio or on the web or on the internet work, you don't do anything around acting that is outside of doing audiobooks, take a moment, step back, consider what the characters would sound like if you weren't reading the words aloud and trying to be clear about your diction, but rather were trying to get some objective, get some joy or some horror or some information, whatever it is that the words are telling you the character wants to get. Allow yourself to act. This is a golden opportunity to act. And for those of you that are actors, don't throw that away. You have this opportunity in an audiobook, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, when characters are talking or whether the narrator's talking, you have the joy of coloring what they say and how they say it however you want, as long as it serves the story. If a character is saying, "What did you do this morning?" Are they saying it accusatorily? Are they saying it just, "What'd you do this morning?" Because they just told you what they'd done this morning and they were, trying to balance the conversation. Maybe something got ruined. What did you do this morning? Maybe it's one of 100 other ways to color that phrase. But we are so sometimes bent on honoring what's on the page in terms of being accurate as opposed to being, expository, in terms of being appropriately emotional, that we forget about those options. And those are the options, that coloring of the content. The coloring that serves the story, helps the listener assimilate the story. Those are the things that take you from the level of a serviceable audiobook narrator to an amazing audiobook narrator. And that's what I want for you. This was a long one, but I wanted you to remember that you have these options, okay? Tell me what you're thinking right now. Tell me if you feel like I've beaten you up. I hope not. I'm just giving you more options rather than taking options away. Tell me if this reminder was useful to you. Go to voheroes.com. Give me a comment below the video if you're not watching it there, if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you're listening to it in your favorite podcaster. Go to voheroes.com and join in the conversation there about this. Hit the like button if you like what you're hearing. You can subscribe to the channel. You can click the notification bell and be told when the next episode comes out. You can share this with another actor or narrator who might benefit from it. That'd be great. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I will see you in the next episode of the VO Heroes podcast.